Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is your horoscope for the full moon in Pisces, which is happening on 20th September or 21st September, depending on where you're at in the world. For Pacific time, this is happening at 5 p.m. Pacific time. If you are elsewhere, then you can always convert the Pacific time to your time zone to know when this is going to happen for you. Now, what is a full moon? A full moon is when the sun and the moon oppose each other, make a 180-degree angle. And this is a point where we begin to release things. It's an emotional release. It's also a point of completion. A full moon is the brightest night in the sky. So it is also a point where we begin to have clarity about what we seeded on the new moon, which happened about 2 weeks ago, the new moon in Virgo. So this full moon will bring clarity to that. Now this full moon is happening at 28 degrees of Pisces. So you can look at your chart to know which area of your life this full moon is going to highlight. Now moving on, this full moon in Pisces is going to bring about Piscean themes. What are those themes? Themes of spirituality, themes of surrendering to the divine, letting go of control, closing out the past. I will talk about closing out the past a little bit more, but it's also about going deep into a subconscious mind. Now, connected to the past, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, which means the past closes out here. A cycle ends in the sign of Pisces, and which is what we are doing on this full moon as well. In March of 2021, we had the new moon in Pisces, and that new moon in Pisces was a very important step in letting go of the past that has been with us for decades, for years, the past that we carry with us emotionally, subconsciously in our subconscious mind. And we began to release that past slowly in March. And now, with this full moon, that process of releasing the past is reaching one more step. We're releasing the past a little bit more, the past in our mind, the past embedded in our subconscious. So, that is the most important thing about this full moon, that it will help us release that past. And what happens when we let go of subconscious pain, subconscious fear, subconscious things, memories associated with the past? We can surrender. So this is what this full moon is going to help us do as well, surrender to the present. And in that, we can also embrace our spirituality. So these are the themes of this full moon. It is also a full moon that will help us understand the new beginning, or whatever we seeded with the new moon in the sign of Virgo about 2 weeks ago. And this moon is a lot about release, more so than other full moons, and that's because this is where we release the past. So yes, the full moon is happening on 20th September, but if you are feeling like a lot of emotional release is happening before this, that's okay, because that's because of this full moon energy. A lot of emotional release. And what happens when we release things? The past comes back for review. We review it and then we release it. So that's what this full moon can do. And to sum it up, before we get into the aspects and the energy of this full moon is a release point. It's a completion point. It's at 28 degrees of Pisces. So look at your chart, 28 degrees of Pisces. That's what this full moon is going to highlight for you. And this full moon is going to bring us an understanding about the new beginning that happened about 2 weeks ago, or whatever we seeded or started to work on with the new moon in Virgo. And this full moon will more importantly help us really release the past. And we've begun the release process in March 2021. And it's a lot about releasing, a lot about a subconscious mind, a lot about surrendering. And now let's talk about the aspects this full moon is making. Okay. So the first important thing about this full moon is that the sun here is conjunct Mars. Now, Mars is a planet of action. It's a planet of taking initiative. It's our drive. It's our willpower. And the sun is our soul. It's our consciousness. And Mars is conjunct the soul. This moon could really give us the drive, the courage the willpower, the initiative to make things happen. And that could very well be because we let go of the past. Sometimes it's the past, it's the memories of the past, it's our subconscious fears, it's our subconscious mind that prevents us from doing something new, from taking action, from stepping into the new fully. So I feel Mars conjunct the Sun will really instill that drive, that willpower, that initiative to make things happen, to move forward, to step into the new. Because Mars rules the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, right? Aries is where we begin things. So Mars begins things. That's the energy. It does things, it begins things. So in this full moon, on this full moon rather, we can really start to really step into the new, find that drive. But Mars also has a tendency to be very reactive. It also has a tendency to be very aggressive, right? Mars is a warrior, it gets aggressive, it gets angry. So if that energy is happening, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling frustrated, that's because Mars is conjunct the moon. So maybe let the energy pass, maybe hold yourself back. If you want to release something in a very aggressive way, an emotional release, maybe hold yourself back and realize that's because Mars is conjunct the Sun. So that's the first aspect. Okay, then we'll come back to Mars again, but let's talk about the second aspect. The second aspect is that the moon here is conjunct Neptune. Yes, it's a 7-degree orb, but it's still conjunct Neptune. We will feel the Neptunian energy. First of all, Neptune rules the sign of Pisces. So there's a lot of Neptune energy. And what is Neptune? Neptune is the planet of surrendering. It's the planet of the higher realms. It's the planet of the divine. It's the planet of spirituality. But Neptune energy is also very confusing, very sensitive. So Neptune can work in two ways. On one hand, it can be the most magical, spiritual experience. On the other hand, it can bring about confusion. It can really dampen the spirits a little bit. So this moon can be the most magical experience, the most spiritual experience, the moment of surrender, where we release emotionally, we surrender ourselves, and we say, I'm ready to let go of the past and step into the new and take action. Or it could be a feeling that really confuses us and holds us back, because that's Neptune as well, confusion, feeling low. So that there is a tendency for that to happen. And if that is happening, realize that that's the Neptune energy. Maybe try to manifest that energy in a positive way, because the energy is there. It's up to us how we use it, right? We can either use that Neptunian energy to surrender, to release, to delve deeper into our subconscious mind, to connect with the higher realms, all these things, or we can feel confused, we can feel deluded, we can feel like I'm low, nothing's happening. So either way it can manifest, but try to manifest it positively. And if it manifests positively, then we will find that drive and courage to take action, to make things happen, to step into the new, because Mars is there. Alternatively, to sum it up, one hand, it can be a moment of surrender, a moment of emotional release, a moment of connecting with the higher realms and saying, okay, I surrender, I give up control. And in that surrender, the past goes away and we can step into the new. We find that drive, courage, willpower with Mars to step into the new. Or we say, I'm confused, I don't know what to do, I feel deluded, I feel a bit low, and that eventually leads to frustration and anger, and there's a tendency to lash out or speak harshly to someone else with that, right? Because Mars is in Libra. Libra is about relationships, so relationships are highlighted as well with this moon. So I've told you how this energy can manifest in two ways. So maybe try to manifest it positively. I know that's not easy. I know, because oftentimes I know the energy because I'm doing these readings, and then I only start to feel like, okay, I don't feel good. I don't feel this. I don't feel that. And I know it's hard to get out of that energy when one is in that place, but try, right? We all know it's there, so we can all make that effort. And what else is happening? So let's talk about some more things, and then we'll kind of put it all together to sum it up. The sun here is trining Pluto, positive angle, right? And the moon is sextiling it, positive. And Pluto is the planet of transformation, of healing, catharsis, endings, beginnings. But very simply put, Pluto is total transformation, Pluto is catharsis, and Pluto is regeneration. And Pluto is also a psychology. It's the planet of the subconscious as well. And with a trine, a positive aspect, this moon can really help us. Actually, it's trining the sun and sextiling the moon, but the positive aspect can really help us transform. It can help us release emotions, and it can help us heal and regenerate. So there's another powerful aspect going on that is asking us to release, that is asking us to let go. Pisces in itself is releasing the past. Pluto is releasing fears. Pluto is releasing any psychological stuff we have going on that is not required anymore, right? And once we release that, we heal, we find our new self. So that's what this another theme that is being highlighted, or the same theme being highlighted in another way, of release, of transforming, of letting go. And Pluto is the planet that can bring about obsessions and control and all those sort of things. So this moment here is a reminder to let go of the control, to let go of the fears, to let go of any subconscious psychological baggage that is preventing us from surrendering, that we are still holding on to, because we are still holding on to the past. Pisces is the past, but this moon is about releasing that. So that's where Pluto comes in. And speaking of Pluto, okay, let's talk about that. Mercury here is getting ready to square Pluto, right? But as it is getting ready to square Pluto, it is trining Jupiter. So it is making a positive aspect, right? And then it is getting ready for a stressful aspect. And Mercury trine Jupiter, what does that mean? Mercury is our logical mind. Jupiter is a higher mind. Mercury is logical thought. Jupiter is higher wisdom. Mercury is our day-to-day routine. It's our lifestyle, it's our diet, it's our exercise, it's our routine. And Jupiter is belief systems, it's our philosophy, it's what we live by. And these two planets are trining, making a positive aspect. And Jupiter is also blessings and wisdom and rewards and lessons. So this is a moment here, multiple things can happen. We can feel like our logical mind and higher mind are in sync. We can feel blessed in our mind. We can feel blessed in our routine, in our diet, in our health, in our job. Positive feeling about all these things. But at the same time, Mercury is getting ready to square Pluto, which means we might be feeling good about our routine. We might be feeling good mentally. We might be feeling good about the day-to-day. Mercury is the day-to-day. We might be receiving some positive communication. Mercury is communication. Jupiter is positive. Some positive communication, some communication like that. But Mercury knows it's getting ready to square Pluto. That means it knows it needs to transform, it needs to change, it needs to let go. And again, this is a transformation to our logical mind. It's a transformation to how we think. It's a transformation to how we communicate or live our day-to-day lives, because Pluto is there. And a square to Pluto does not always feel very easy. So that's also happening on this full moon. And what that means is that this full moon, let me put it all together really quick and then we'll move on. After we release things, after we surrender, after we let go of the past, with the conjunction to Neptune, we will find the drive to take action, to make things happen, to step into the new energy. Conjunction to Mars, and with the sextile to Pluto, that is also a release of our fears, of our psychology, of transforming ourselves. And that will also encompass a transformation to our logical mind, to our communication, to thinking, to our day to day, to our routine, to our habits, all Mercury things. But there is also a positive feeling about all Mercury things, a positive message, perhaps, a positive communication, a positive realization. Think of it this way: what happens when we release? We release something. We release the past, we release our subconscious fears. We say, okay, I'm ready to step into the new. What happens then? You feel good. You feel good. Okay, I'm going to make these changes. I'm going to step into the new. I'm going to change up my routine. I'm going to take better care of my health. I'm going to change up how I do my job. I'm excited. But then, with the square to Pluto, okay, how do I do this? This transformation is not going to be easy. So that's the kind of energy we're facing here. And let's also talk a little bit more about Mars. And what's happening here is that Mars is getting ready to trine the North Node. It's almost trining the North Node actually, and it is sextiling the South Node. And Mars trining, what is the North Node? The North Node is where we are headed. It's our goals in a way. And the South Node is the past. It's what we are leaving behind. And Mars is the planet of action, of initiative. And a trine is positive. So this moon will really help us take action towards what? The life that we have been building. The North Node, the goals that we have, it will really help us go there. And it's making a positive aspect to the South Node, the past. As we take that action, as we move towards the North Node, the past will become easier and easier to let go of. And this moon is about releasing the past. This moon is about clearing out the subconscious. It is about releasing the control and the fears and stepping into the new. And the new that we have been working on for a long time, for a year and a half almost. The North Node has been in Gemini since May of 2020. We've been moving towards these goals since May of 2020 in a way, and trying to release the past. And another aspect that I want to speak about is Saturn. Saturn here has been trining the North Node for months. And Saturn is a builder, right? It sets things in stone, it does things for the long run. So these goals, the North Node, where we are headed, the North Node, is for the long run. It's not for the short run, these goals or this life, whatever we are moving towards. And Saturn is helping us build those goals for months. We've been slowly working on these goals. Saturn is slow. It's slow. So we've been working on these goals, and now Mars has come in, and Mars has made a positive aspect to the North Node, and you can even say it's trining Saturn. Mars trines Saturn. Mars is drive, it's action, it's courage, it's willpower, and Saturn is the planet of decision, hard work, commitment. So this moment here, we can really find that drive, the willpower, the courage, the initiative to work hard, to make a commitment, to make things happen. And all this, what is this highlighting? The North Node. Towards our long-term goals, towards what we've been working on for at least for about a year and a half. And in that energy, the past will become easier to release. And let's talk about another aspect that's going on. It's not exact, but it's going to happen very soon. And what's happening here is that Venus is getting ready to oppose Uranus. Now, Venus is our relationships, Venus is our projects, Venus is love, Venus is finances, it's our self-worth, it's how we feel about ourselves. It's also our values. What do we value? What are our values? All these things are Venus, right? And Venus here is opposing the planet of sudden, unexpected changes, the planet of electrifying energy, the planet that wants us to break free so that we can be our authentic self, right? And Uranus is also the most rebellious, the most unconventional planet. And what happens when Venus opposes Uranus? All Venus things are asked to undergo a sudden change, an unexpected change, so that we can break free from any Venus things that might be holding us back, so that we can fully step into our authentic self. And to sum it up, this energy could bring about changes. This energy could bring about sudden changes to our love, relationships, projects, self-worth, values, skills, finances, so that we can step more fully into who we truly are, our authentic self. And Uranus has been very important this year, right? A lot of the moons have made aspects to Uranus. Saturn is also squaring Uranus, right? This is the highlight of 2021, that Saturn is squaring Uranus. Right now, there's a 7-degree orb. The energy is not very intense, but it is there. It will be there all year, and it's going to become intense again in December. It was intense in June. And this energy is about change. It's about embracing the new. It's about finding our authentic self. So 2021 is about this energy, and now Uranus is opposing Venus. Our relationships, our projects, our self-worth, our values, our skills, our finances are being highlighted, are being asked to undergo a change that might come about suddenly and unexpectedly. And it might even be an unconventional sort of change, so that you can break free from your limitations and step into your true self, your authentic self, which is the theme of 2021. Right? So there's a lot going on this full moon, a lot. I think to sum it up, we have Mars here involved, Neptune is involved, Jupiter is involved, Saturn is involved, Pluto is involved, we have Venus, we have Mercury involved, and we have Uranus and the nodes. This moon is hitting almost everything in the chart, right? You can even say Chiron is involved because it is quincunxing Venus, but it's a lot involved. Actually, it's quincunxing it exact. So this moon will touch every aspect of our life, and that is because this full moon is where we close out the past. It's where we release the past, and we can find that drive, that courage, that willpower to step into the new, or we may not. And that's because Neptune is there, right? Neptune is one of those planets where the energy can be, either the most magical or the most confusing and depressing. So Neptune is there. So that gives us that power in a way to decide, am I releasing the past? Am I surrendering? Am I going to do this emotional release so that I can find that courage in myself, the drive in myself to step into the new with Mars, or not? This is one of those moons. And if we step in and we step into the new, if we decide that, if we say, okay, you know what, the past is the past, I'm done with it. Yes, it was painful, yes, it was hurtful, yes, it was whatever, but I'm done. Then we can truly move into the new. Mars begins the cycle, the new. And in that, we will be required to change up our routine, our thinking, our communication, our day-to-day, our health perhaps, health habits, our job, and even Venus things, love, relationship, money, projects, self-worth, value, skills. Why? Because Pluto here is squaring Mercury. Venus here is opposing Uranus. Neptune is involved. Mars is involved. A lot is going on. And let's talk about the quincunx to Chiron. Right? Venus here is quincunxing Chiron. Now, quincunx is when two elements don't seem compatible and we kind of have to make them compatible. So what's happening here? On this moon, we may feel like our relationships, our projects, our self-worth, our values, our skills are some way not incompatible, or in some ways wounding us, or in some ways making us feel that pain. Chiron is wounds, Chiron is pain, Chiron is also healing. But the minute with the opposition to Uranus, we undergo that transformation. We are willing to let go or change Venus things so that we can step into who we truly are. There's healing, right? There's healing. So that's pretty much it for this full moon. I know this is a lot going on, so I'm going to sum it up and put it all together so that we can make sense of it. And what's happening here is that this full moon is going to require us to release the past, emotional release of the past, subconscious release of the past. It is going to require us to surrender to the divine. And when we do that, we will find that initiative, that drive to take actions, to step into the new energy. And stepping into this new energy might require us to transform Mercury things, thinking, communication, our day to day, our lifestyle, our health habits, our job, and also change up our Venus things or how we approach Venus things, right? Love, relationships, projects, self-worth, values, skills, finances. And at this moon, we might feel like our Venus things, love, relationships, self-worth, values, skills, finances, are in some ways responsible for our pain, in some ways, because of Chiron. But if we change how we approach Venus things, our mindset, our subconscious mindset to Venus things, love, relationships, projects, self-worth, values, skills, there's healing in that. But overall, this moon is all about letting go of the past, transforming and giving up of control, Pluto, fears, Pluto, so that we can step into the new Mars, take action for the new Mars, the new that we have been building for at least a year, the new that is for the long run, the North Node trine Saturn. So all this is going on. I know I had to sum it up really quick, but that was a lot again. So I think the best way to put this would be this moon is about emotional release. It is about transforming so that we can take action for the new life that we have been trying to build and move towards that. And this new life is for the long run. And we have been slowly laying the foundation for this new life for months now. And a lot of things in our life can change, can transform, or simply how we approach those things in our subconscious mind can transform with this full moon. The essence of this full moon is to release the past, to release the fears, to let go of everything. And if we do that one thing, if we release, if we let go, if we surrender, things will happen on their own. Things will begin to fall into place on their own. And I say if we let go and surrender because Neptune is there. Neptune can really make us feel confused. It can make us feel depressed. It can make us feel like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to release this. I'd rather escape. I'd rather escape this reality. That's Neptune. Neptune, yes, it's the higher realms, but it's also escapism. So here we have a choice to really face the past and release it and let it go. And if we do that, everything begins to kind of fall into place. Or we say, I want to escape this. I want to escape. And if that happens, then that's not the positive manifestation of Neptune. So that's all I'm going to say for this full moon. It is an intense one. It is going to really require us to face our emotions, face our subconscious, but there is beauty at the end of that. There is a new energy at the end of that, a new energy that we have been working on for months, a new energy that we have been witnessing for over a year, North Node in Gemini, in the past that we have been trying to release for a long time. So if, to sum it up for the last time, if we let go of the past, if we release those emotions, if we release the subconscious past, things will fall into place for the future. But I do believe this moon is a choice. So that's all I'm going to say. I will pick a card for this full moon, actually 2 cards for this full moon, and then we'll close it out. Okay, something fell. Let me pick it up. Doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. And I think this can very well be the card that we need, right? Because why do we hold on to the past? Why are we afraid to step into the new? Because of doubt. Will this work? Will this not work? I'm scared, Pluto. I have fears, Pluto. I need to control things, Pluto. So don't doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. We may not have the answers, right? Why did this happen? Why did this happen to me? Why was my past like this? We don't know. It was what it was, right? But this full moon is asking us to let all that go, because the new can, so that the new can step in. Let's pick one more card. Okay, let's go to the top. Flexible. I think this full moon is also asking us to be flexible. And how are we flexible? When we surrender. When we surrender to the flow of things. And what is Pisces? Pisces is surrender. Pisces is going with the flow. Pisces is being flexible. So this full moon will require us to be flexible, because only when we are flexible can we change so many things in our life, as this full moon might require us to do, or we can change our mindset. We can change our subconscious mindset about these things. So this full moon will require us to be flexible, and Pisces is a mutable energy. It's a changeable energy, which requires us to be flexible. So I think this moon is a lot about releasing, a lot about giving up the doubt and surrendering. And I hope you have a great full moon. I will see you in one of my other videos. Bye.